All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining today. We have a short meditation class. If you have a block or a bolster that you'd like to sit on, you're welcome to have that close by. This can also be done in a chair if that's more comfortable for you. So let's go ahead and get started in a comfortable seat. That can be cross legs, sitting on your shins or a block. Hands can rest in your lap. And then either let your eyes soften or close. And just notice your breath. Try not to change your breath at all. Just start to become aware of it. You might notice the pacing of your breath or the rhythm. Or the gentle movements that come along with your breathing. There are many different types of meditation, lots of different ways you can practice. For today, we'll focus on this gentle awareness. This observing without judging. Especially if we're practicing yoga, when we start thinking about the breath, you might think that there's a right way to breathe, that you need to breathe deeper or slower. Placing some kind of value on a particular type of breath. For today, if that's coming up for you, see if you can let that go. There's no right or wrong way. And just let yourself be curious about what arises or how your breath flows naturally. Relax the space between your eyebrows and along your jaw. You might even let your shoulders soften a bit. We'll start with a couple of moments of gentle stretching. You can keep your eyes closed or you can blink them open. With your next inhale, take your hands high overhead. Hands come to heart center. Hands sweep high overhead. Slow twist to your right, left hand to right knee. And pause for just a moment. We'll unwind back to center. Take hands forward and up. Twist over to your left. Right hand, left knee. If it feels good, you can look over your back shoulder. Unwind back to center. Hands float up. Hands to heart center. Hands go straight back up overhead, option to glance up towards your thumbs. This time, side bend over to your right. Right hand to the mat, left arm up and over. Option to look up through your armpit, a little rotation of the ribs over to the left. Hands high back through center. And side bend over to the left. Right arm up and over. That bottom elbow can be straight or bent. Option to look up through your armpit, rotate ribs up. And back up through center. Hands to heart. And bring your palms down to rest on your knees. We'll take palms down for now. And let's go into a cow shape. Heart lifts forward and up. Notice what it feels like to breathe here. Slightly different shape around the ribs. And cat shape. We'll roll back on the sit bones, spine rounds back, little tuck of chin. Notice the sensation of your breath here. Cow pose, heart lifts forward and up. Cat pose, spine rounds back. Cow pose to lift. And cat to round back. Go ahead and do 1 or 2 more rounds on your own. You can be a little bit more casual about this if you want to add in side bends or circles through the ribs. Whatever feels intuitive. Eventually landing back in your neutral spine. Let's flip palms up if that feels okay for your wrists. Eyes can close again. And just as if it were the first moment of your practice today, return to just observing breath. Throughout our practice, if you ever feel like you need to make an adjustment, know that you're never stuck. So if you need to adjust something, if you have an itch or if your leg's falling asleep, first pause and notice what the need is, and then make your adjustment slowly. You can stay with your breath as you move. Now take your thumb and the tip of your pointer finger and go ahead and touch them together. It looks kind of like a yoga mudra, the different hand shapes. That's not the particular way we'll use it today. Just happens to be similar. Notice the point of connection, right where the thumb and the first finger touch. What is the sensation there? Can you let the other 6 fingers soften a bit? Are you holding any extra tension that you don't need? Now very slowly start to separate these first two fingers so that they have just a tiny amount of space between them. Take a slow breath in and exhale to let the palms fall open. You might even wiggle your fingers. And we'll go on to the second finger. Thumbs and middle fingers come together. And maybe you press them together a little bit more firmly this time. Just changing the experience subtly. And notice what sensations arise. It might just be the tips of the fingers, or you might feel your palms or wrists working. Let that pressure become lighter. And a little space between the fingers, just the tiniest space. Stay for your inhale. And let your palms fall open. Wrists relax. We begin to fold the thumb and the ring finger in towards each other. And you choose either a light connection or a little bit more pressure, or even slowly changing back and forth between them. Whatever is interesting. Then a connection becomes lighter and lighter until we have just a little space between. And palms release fully open. Elbows are heavy, shoulders relaxed. And finally, thumb and pinky finger come together. We'll take 5 to 10 breaths here. What is there to observe or be curious about, even in this smallest gesture? Soften the connection so that fingers eventually separate just a little. And let your hands release open. You can wiggle fingers or stretch out your palms. And find a moment of stillness. Notice both hands. Maybe there's a lingering warmth or sensation. Maybe there's nothing out of the ordinary. Keep this awareness of your hands, your palms and your wrists, and include the awareness of your breath. So we start to broaden the awareness. And let it expand just a little bit more, including your shoulders, your head, and your neck. Your hips, knees, and feet. And notice how there's never true stillness there. There's always the breath, changes of temperature, even the feeling of texture, air, clothing on your skin. Always something to be curious about. Stay here for just a few moments longer, just a few more breaths. All right, the final 5 minutes of our practice will be a silent meditation. You're welcome to stay in your seat or to lie on your back to make yourself comfortable. You can use these 5 minutes either as a pure rest where you let your mind wander with no particular goal, or you can stay with this observation of sensation, or even go through another round of the fingertip connections. Let your eyes soften or close. Soften around your breath so it can flow freely. And I'll let you know when it's time to wrap up. Final meditation. Linger just a moment longer. And as you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. You might turn your head side to side. If you're on your back, start to make your way up to a comfortable seat. We all bring palms together at heart center. We seal our practice with an easy breath in and out. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice today. I invite you to close with a bow or any gesture that's meaningful to you. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, everyone.